Good morning, afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you are, where you're joining us from. I know, Simon, you're in Australia, right? Yeah. All the way under or over. I don't know. Isn't it? Like they say all the way under, but under what? If we don't know what's up and down, then maybe they're on top. Who knows, huh, Larry? So, today, Friday, August 7th, 2026, we are beginning session 368 of Tesos and Wi-Fi. This session is part of the Wireless LAN Professionals Wi-Fi design class. This is a design class that we're giving away to the community for free. That's right, kids. You're not paying anything for it. Best part is if you don't like the class, you can get a refund. You get 100% of what you paid. So that's a guarantee, man. You can come here with all the confidence in the world. So, lots of questions. We've been now learning about Hamina. We have learned most of the options in here. You go to Hamina, create an account, bring in the floor plan. It will, thanks to all of the training they've done to the different models, they have trained it in a way that we brought it in and it kind of like drew all the walls and doors and windows for us. That was really cool, really fast. And then we learned how to create this building. Hey, you want to learn how to recreate this? Watch the prior sessions we've done. All of this stuff, of course, we didn't draw like all the tables and all the attenuation areas, but we learned basically how to even create an air duct. If you have an air duct in here, then you can use the tool. And let me look at what I learned yesterday too. You can just use these guys to rotate and this guy to move the thing up and down. Here, let me just zoom out a little bit. Then you can do that from here. So if I have, see the air duct, we learn how to do that. We're going to learn more about it doing warehouses. Hopefully we'll get to warehouses today. We have some interesting questions before we started the recording, but we postponing because the question has to do with if you come from the air magnet world, because that's how I learned Wi-Fi was with air magnet. Looks like Wallet goes all the way back then, huh? You used air magnet as well? So the question was, we used air magnet and then air magnet started going down. Then Ekahau started coming up because they started getting input from the community and Mr. Parsons started walking us into that process. And that's how we started learning. And then Ekahau started going up and air magnet started going down in the sense that, development and the easiness and how useful it was. Ekahau just became that tool. Now we are in a new stage of that life cycle that Ekahau is going down and Hamina's coming up. And the question has always been, if I have files in air magnet, how do I import them into Ekahau? Now the question repeats. This is like deja vu, huh, Wally? If I have Ekahau files, how do we then import them or bring them into Hamina? Or how do we bring them into Ceros? Or how do we... So Nick Turner has created some tool to kind of help with that. I think Sheto has done some, I don't know if he's done some way to import the files, but one of the projects out there trying to like get a common ground is Open Intent. I don't even know if there's a page for that, Open Intent Framework. That what it's called, Open Intents, not Open Intent. Is this Jake Snyder stuff? Let's see. This is not it. Well, I'll find out about it, or if one of you have info about it. It's an idea that any vendor, if it's Ekahau, Ceros, Hamina, Whalify, whoever it is, should save all of the data in a format that anybody can just input, kind of like a Word document. You create a Word document or a text document, and you can open it in multiple tools because all the format, all the framework is the same. In here, all of the stuff we've done, let me just bring Wavelyfy, okay? Wavelify. And let me go to maps. Let me open the same project we have over here. If I can find it, didn't I have it over here? Oh, Project FedEx, Cobra. Here, Tesos. Let's open this guy. And if we go to 3D, hey, look at that. See, we have very similar type of things. They're using the same libraries or the same, I don't know, the same whatever it is that they're using. Here, let me just go back to it. Just got out of it. So they're using evidently very similar things. See, you have the building, you have walls, you have to draw things, attenuation areas. You can do AP placement, and then it has, signal propagation. If I look at show me my heat map, and then see, they have all the access points, just the icons are slightly different. Let me just zoom in a little bit in here and bring this guy. See, I can go through the floors. I can navigate it pretty much the same way we've been doing with this guy. I can select stuff. So the idea, see, I have air ducts, I have racks, I have walls, I have access points. Same thing. See, no different than what we're doing here with Hamina. If we go to Cetos, which we're going to be learning about Cetos probably next week, let me also open a project. And let's see, I might have this one. The same small little building in here. Sitio Nuevo. Let's see, hopefully this one has is design. No, this is survey. Let's look at design. And let's look at coverage. So if I switch to my 3D visualization. Look at that. Oh, the same thing, huh? You rotate, you have access points, we draw walls, we do things. We don't have that cool, 3D visualization and the slickness that Hamina has, or what Cetos has. Cetos has the same thing. You have the 3D stuff that we can just move, rotate, go through stuff. Cetos doesn't quite have it. They are really strong in survey. We'll get to it. The best part, we're going to learn about all these three tools because I will get you licenses. Hamina guys, they gave us licenses. Cetos guys, they said, sure, however many licenses you need for your students, we'll get you licenses. Same thing with Wavelify. The guy said, like, yeah, we'll get you license. Tell me how many you need. Actually, you can just go and create the accounts, and then we'll just get you a license so you can use it for a longer period. Ekahau said, no free license for you. No soup for you, Larry. No temporary licenses from Ekahau for you. They just said no. They don't want to give us free license, and they deactivated my account. So I said, like, oh, sorry. Didn't mean to get you upset, but we'll learn about this stuff. Open intent, what they're hoping to do is that everybody can just save this stuff and allow people to open it in other software. I don't know how far down the line that is, or if people are even contributing. Maybe we should ask Larry, not Larry, Jerry. There are too many Aries, Larry, Jerry, Terry, Carrie. So we will ask Jerry and see if they have, I mean, I haven't come across some open intent button in here anywhere that said like, hey, save this schema in a way that can be opened in another tool, which for the Ekahau files, if you have ESX files, we can look into those. If you rename, watch this, if you rename an Ekahau file into a zip file, then you can look at all the contents of it. Let's see if I have one over here. So ESX. Oh man, I have several of them. Okay, let's see which one are we going to play with. Let's grab 3 floors. Here we go. Let's grab this file. Let me make a copy of it. Make a copy of this file. Copy, 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 copy. If we, let me just place this on my downloads, 3 floors. Okay. If I open that file in Ekahau, I will have a design here. Let me just get that open. Give me a second. I'll come back over here. Let me open that file. ChatGPT. Alex, place something there. Hey, Alex, you're an Ekahau user. What do you use? Have you figured something out to import files into Hamina or
I
any other
think
thing?
no, I didn't have any other software, but what I'm thinking is maybe we can use that integration between with Catalyst Center so we can import stuff, but this doesn't work for post-survey files, just predictive. But maybe we can
Uh,
import to Catalyst Center and export to. This is one idea that I'm going to test later.
okay. Let me, they modify. Let's open the 3 floors. Hang on, give me 1 second. I'll share my screen here again. Oh, it's in downloads. What is it called? Let's see. That's called 3 floors. 3 floors, downloads. Let's see if I can open it. Let's see if I can open it. Stupid file. Let's bring this file. Control C. I'll paste it on the desktop. And let's see if I can put it in here. Here, let me just, this is not opening for some reason. Let me share my screen again. So if I come here to downloads, I have that Ekahau file. If I rename it, see if I rename that file and change the extension from ESX to zip, just like a zip file. So like you wanna use zip, yes. And if I double click and just extract the file, it creates a folder. And this is all the contents of that Ekahau file. So there is an access points JSON file. Let me open this with Xcode, or let's use Visual Studio. Visual Studio Code. A second, takes a little bit to open. Then here is the contents of that Ekahau file when it comes to the access points. So there's an access point, there's the floor plan. Remember we talked about XY coordinates? Here you go. That's the XY coordinate of that access point. And then it has, it's a simulated AP, it's my AP. These are the tags you add for like reports. And when you go to Ekahau and say, hey, this is my AP or this is somebody else's AP, vendor Aruba, model, this is the ID of this access point. And then the location, it has the floor plan that it's on, and then just more XY coordinates. And then it goes through all the other APs. This one only has 2 APs, but everything is there. Also, if I go to antenna types, let's see if I open this. Oh, it's going to open Xcode here. While that comes up, areas, attenuation areas, building floors. See, this one is now open in Xcode. This would be the antenna types. And then it's going to have the information of the antenna. This is what the software is using for the for that antenna. So the antenna patterns, when we look at an antenna, come over here. When we go to access points, and when we go and select one of these antennas, all of this information is coming from a file like this, okay? And is the same file that the vendor shares, vendor of the antenna, okay, whoever makes the antenna, they share all that antenna pattern information with Hamina, with Ekahau, with Cirrus, with Wavelify, and then they import that file into their software, and this is what allows us to see this type of stuff, see? Because we have it here. If we go to a Wavelify and we go to access points, where are the access points? Right here, Wi-Fi. And let me just switch to 2D on this guy. If we look, let's say, at an access point here, where is the antenna pattern thing? I haven't used this in a while, man. I'm gonna have to refresh my memory or simply get the person who wrote this to come and help us. But here, let's see if it's this guy or that guy. How do I then look? Because you can also look at the antenna panel. Maybe I have to go to, let me just make sure I get this smaller over here. I think that one has everything we need. How do we look at the antenna? Let's place an access point. Let's look at an antenna pattern. I think it's from here. Select an AP model. Okay, access point. It's an access point settings. Select vendor. Let's choose the, I don't know, an Aruba 635. Right there. Tri-band. So now that I have an access point, look at that. See? I can look at the radiation pattern for the antenna for that AP. See? And look at in 3D, look at the azimuth. That's, you know, looking at like top to bottom, or I can look at the elevation. See? So I can look at the information for any other AP or antenna. Same thing as Hamina, same thing as Cirrus. See, in Cirrus, I can just choose this access point. I mean, I love this because it shows me the whole pattern of the antenna, okay? And then if I'm adding an access point, let's say this Alta Labs access point, let's say this guy, see, it shows me the antenna pattern for that guy. So all of this information is coming from a file like this. If it's the same file and they kind of use the same data to show it to us, there should be a way that this file could be imported into, I don't know, pick your vendor, Hamina, Cirrus, Wavelify. So you should be able to export a file from Ekahau because look, the data is there. We have the data for the antennas. We have the data for the access points, walls, buildings. If I look at the map, see if I put an extension on this guy of, let's say, that PNG. There you go. That's the file. That's the image. Everything's there. Remember, this image is nothing but pixels. It's a bitmap that you can just now create the XY coordinate system. And then wherever you place an access point somewhere, it's just adding one AP with those characteristics in an XY coordinate. So it's the same for everybody. They all do the same. So why can't they? Well, and I understand, like, no, I want my stuff, man, and I want people to just buy my product and it only works in my software and it's only my stuff. Not, you know, I think Ekahau goes one step further and say like, and your data is my data. And then if you don't pay me, I'll just keep your data hostage and then I'm not going to let you access it. So that's where the concern with some people that still want to use just a local piece of software on the computer and keep all the files local. So yes, hopefully that open intent thing keeps growing and vendors start kind of like playing that game. So yeah, sure. I'll allow you to create a project in Hamina and allow you, Walid, to export it and then, I don't know, open it in Ekahau or vice versa. But I don't see, you know, the way things have been with Ekahau in the last few years, I don't see Ekahau playing nice with that aspect, okay? So they are actually just trying to close it even more and making it less accessible to people of doing something like this, like renaming a file and going through stuff. Now, once you rename this, that's what guys are using artificial intelligence to get an Ekahau file and then exporting all of the images and the notes and the information about either a design or a survey and making changes and recreating the files, the JSON files, and then packing it back into a zip file and then renaming from zip to that ESX. And now you have your modified Ekahau file that you can just play with it. But they don't want you to play with it. They just want to keep it, closed in a way that you only can see it using Ekahau products. That's it. Okay. Let's go back to what we came here for. But this is good. Thank you for. I don't know if that answers your question, Walid, but
it does.
I think
Thank you.
I think people out there need to know that this how this works. That's what we're trying to show you how it works. Okay, and yes, as you can see, it's just the interface is so much slicker here in Hamina. I don't know any first-time Hamina users here in this group. That is Glenn around? Oh, Glenn doesn't have his camera on.
The camera is malfunctioning.
Camera is not working.
It's on, but it's not showing anything.
It's Friday, man.
The main problem on creating a file converter.
Mego, bonjour. Luke was here. He came from France just a few months ago and came down. He was here in the man cave, huh? And we went down to Menchis to eat yogurt. Oh, man, that was good. How's Sarah?
She's fine. She's on holiday.
Say hi to Sarah for us.
I will. No problem.
So, Glenn, have you used Hamina before?
Just a little bit in the beginning.
Yeah.
But this is the first time really playing around with it intensively. And comparing, obviously, with Ekahau. And as you say, the look and feel of the AI model is indeed slicker. The way the walls are drawn, the fact that it's colored instead of just gray and white, it doesn't add anything to accuracy, to anything, say, scientific, but it looks nicer. And
and it's better because we spend a lot of time showing this to customers, showing this in conference rooms, explaining these things, and this make it so much easier. And the fact you can add the transparency. And I know those Hamina guys, they go crazy, like drawing the screens of the TVs on top of the desks and the little cup with the pencils. And like, okay, nobody's going to go to a hotel and drawing the bed and the mattress and the pillows on top. It's like, you just have too much time on your hands, man. And engineers that will just play with AI in a way that it's cool, not needed. We were even discussing earlier this week, when you draw a table, you really draw like the legs on the top. Well, maybe you just draw a block simulating that, but as you could see, it matters because now, since it's doing signal prediction vertically, then it's going to take into account whatever obstacle there is. And most cases, it's not just going to be a table with legs. You go to somebody's desk and they have the top and they have the filing cabinets on the side. And then sometimes they have tools and boxes and other things throughout. So yeah, we try to simulate all that stuff because it matters now. Now that has value when you're doing signal predictions in multiple floors. So looks like Carrie is also Carrie Saxton. Where's Carrie at? Carrie, are you in the US? Where are you in the world?
Actually, Carrie in US, she's in my
US.
team. Yeah, and she doesn't have a license. She asked for a license like a couple of minutes ago.
All right. Well, does she talk? Can she talk?
I think.
Yeah. Hello, Carrie. Good morning. How did she get in? Did she sign up? Did she get the invite?
I sent him the Zoom link. Yeah.
Okay. So also, let me just post the that form in here because you can just have other people sign up for it. Let me just make sure I have. Where do I have that thing? Oh, it's over here.
Oh, she has a I should have that mic, yeah.
Yeah, because it's easier if you, where is the form? Holy smokes. Oh, here we go. I have it over here. Forms. And then I look at the free Wi-Fi thing, and then I share this, copy responder link. In the chat, I'm gonna paste the responder link. If you click on that link, it takes you to this form. Fill it in, because then it sends me an email. Say, well, your email is gonna be here. That's the email address you want to receive the Zoom invites. All of you guys that join, you received an email because I create the Zoom and then I send it. It's simple. Add your name, your email, and tell me, you know, the level. Maybe I should remove that one because it doesn't really matter, but just give me an idea if you're new to Wi-Fi, you're an expert. And then just, yes, you understand that there's no agenda, there's no time. I will just create these sessions. And sometimes I give like a 2-hour notice. I'll see you in 2 hours. If I have time, we'll do it. If you can attend, fine. If you cannot, well, you know, you'll watch the recording later. Your data is not sold. I'm not going to send you any marketing thing. So I'm not going to tier. It's like, okay, now that I gave you a free one, here, pay me and I'll get you the rest. No. This class, the whole design class is going to be free, and we're going to be covering all of these tools, Tesos, Hamina, and all this stuff. But share that link with people that want to attend or receive the invites. And if not, the website, the Wi-Fi-things.com, that's where all the sessions are recorded and uploaded. Yes, there are sometimes occasions where we just stop the recording because we talk about things that cannot be out there, you know, publicly. That's the rule, you know, and we try to protect our customers' data. We have instances where people say, I have this issue at a customer site, and then we stop the recording. They share the screen, they share a project, they talk about it, we talk about it, we get ideas and help people out with their projects. And then we finish that session, continue the recording, and then a lot of the stuff that you see after the fact is filtered. Just to protect, you know, we had also instances in this session where a guy said like, hey guys, you know, I just, you know, have a question for you, but can I be recorded? Okay. We started the recording. The guy was leaving his company. He was getting a new proposal somewhere else, and he just wanted like an opinion from other guys in the field. Is this a good idea? You know, they're going to pay me this much. Should I get more? Should I mean, and we discussed that. Those are things that sometimes you're out there trying to figure it out and you don't know who to call. Like, man, if I call Larry and ask him about it, then he's going to tell my boss that, you know, I'm considering leaving. And then, you know, like we live in this world that we have like all these friends, but sometimes we're afraid to talk to others. What we've created here, and we are 368 sessions into it, is because we help each other. And before we are experts, we're humans. You know, we have issues, and sometimes we end up talking about, you know, guys that are having issues not only at work but at home, and you know, they're going through a divorce and, you know, kind of personal stuff. But we find a group of friends here that we help each other out. You guys that have been to WLPC, you've seen this is a cool community. And here there's another space that, hey, you don't have to wait to go to Phoenix to just talk to somebody about something. We help each other out personally and professionally, try to figure things out. That's what we're doing with this class. Share it, okay? Share the site, share the form, have people sign up, and I'll send them the invites. All right, back to Hamina. Today, here's what we're going to be doing. And we already covered a lot of important things. We haven't gotten, hey, that's how it goes. See this button here at the bottom? I mean, we pretty much cover everything down the line on the left side except capacity, but down at close to the bottom, there is this switches, cables, and more. If I want to add switches, I click this button to the right, get my eyes on, and I'll probably get ready to call Jerry because I'm getting to territory that maybe I'm not very familiar, because oh, hey, speaking of the devil, look at that. Man, Jerry, did you hear me talking about you?
That I just felt that tingle, like
Yeah,
somebody's
I
talking
know.
about me.
Yeah, we're connected, man. Coffee connects us, Wi-Fi connects us.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I'm sitting over here enjoying my coffee. I'll check in and see how Fernay's doing over here playing with
Yeah.
Hamina.
So you know what? We started this and we invoked your name earlier because we were
Is there some swear words associated
oh
with it?
yeah, lots of them. Son of a,
Some
I'm gonna
cursing.
call this. Yeah. So here's what happened. That Wally said like, okay, I come from Air Magnet, and then we went through a process on how do I migrate files to Ekahau. Then Ekahau started going up, and then Air Magnet going down. Now we're repeating the story that now Hamina is going up, Ekahau is going down. How do we bring files from Ekahau into Hamina? Can you tell us about open intent? Is that I kind of like show him around the the thing with the Ekahau files that you can rename into zip files and unzip them and then go through antennas and patterns and things that we can modify, rezip back and turn into an Ekahau file. Is it possible to bring Ekahau files into Hamina or
I don't know. I'd have to check with my legal team to comment on that.
okay? Do you want me to stop the recording? Because that we can do as well.
Um, I think the official stance from Hamina's side is, yeah, we decided to go the route of embracing the open intent schema file format, and yeah, that's really what it's purpose built for, right? So this is not a Hamina format. The open intent is a Google initiative. So this is actually, yeah, developed for manufacturers, tooling manufacturers particularly, to have this open kind of cross-tool format. So when you're working with this type of data, this type of, floor plans and network objects, building objects, that kind of stuff, that you can easily port that information between different tools, and even build your own tools to, do things with that information. And so, yeah, we've kind of embraced that concept and that schema, so that way you can easily port your information out of Hamina, but also bring other information into Hamina from other tools. Unfortunately, to my knowledge, yeah, Ekahau has not embraced that open format. Other tools have. So it makes it very easy as long as the tools that you're using all support that open intent file format. So yeah, that said, basically, if you can take those Ekahau files and get them into that open intent file format, then it makes it very easy to bring that information into Hamina, and that's kind of our official stance on it. So we can't import other formats directly, but if you can get those formats into that open intent file format, then you can import those into Hamina.
Like, how do you export this into open intent, or how
Yeah,
does
so
open intent work?
So yeah, I'll throw a link into chat if anybody wants to kind of nerd out and read on the Open Intent project. Um, so here's the Open Intent project. Like I said, that's a Google thing. So it's under their GitHub. But yeah, we embrace that as they go and update the schema. We incorporate those changes, those updated schemas into Hamina. And then yeah, they keep adding stuff. If you look at like the releases, you can see kind of some of the stuff that they've added recently and some of the stuff that we're lagging behind that we have to update to support some of those things. But for the most part, it's all there. But yeah, we try to keep up with the latest releases of those different open schema models.
Okay.
And then when you go into Hamina, so if you go to where the project menu is, where it says new test project, you'll have the import export options. You can either click that little, you can actually click right from the top now. If you see there's a little shortcut now that's a import export button, the two arrows, the left and right arrow
Oh,
there.
this one.
That'll,
Okay.
yeah, so that'll take you right to it. Otherwise, yes, you can go under the project menu and select import export. But then if you go to export here, you'll have that open intent file option there.
Oh.
Yep. So yeah, if you select that, that allows you to choose the open intent schema version that you want to export to. So depending on what tool you're going to be importing this into, it may only support a certain version. So you can export it in that version, and then you choose which floors you want to export. And then yeah, it just dumps that into a, clear text zip file. So There's no encryption or anything like that, so you can access all the information in here in clear text. You'll see
yeah,
the
all the info's right there. Look at that.
That's the warnings. There's no warnings. That's good.
Okay, yeah, that's a good. So new. Oh, look at this.
Yeah. So yeah, this is the same kind of information that you were probably showing already of like the copy and paste of like that JSON information. It's a very similar concept. So this is all in JSON, just like when you copy and paste elements, but this is just kind of dumping everything from the project into this open intent format.
Oh man, this is really cool. You know, I'm so glad I came to class today, man, because I didn't know anything about that stuff.
This is also a good way to, if you need to ever get the floor plan back out of Hamina, you know, after it's been imported, or maybe somebody shares a project with you and you don't have the original floor plan. This is a kind of a workaround or whatever that you can get the floor plan back out as well, the clean floor plan.
Sweet. Walid, you have a question? Go ahead.
Yeah, actually, like let's say if I was able to successfully import the files from Ekahau to Hamina, like how accurate will be the data? Like, can I rely on it like to decide if it meets the standard? Like sometimes it make difference for me, like in 2 dB or 3 dB. So how far, like, or how accuracy of that data?
Well, if they're not creating the formats with that same schema, because everything here is in one file. If we look again at the Ekahau file, like it's just broken into different things. It looks like everything in that one file we downloaded from Hamina had all the doors and other stuff. Here it's just like breaking it more into things. I'm sure this can be compiled, and I'm sure AI is going to play a role in putting this in that format. Have you done anything with that portion of it, or anybody here in the group?
Do you have Chetil's link, the link to Chetil's site?
No, I do not.
I'll throw it in chat here.
Okay.
Because pull that up on your side, Fernay. Yeah, so I would highly suggest bookmark this, whether you're using Hamina or Ekahau. There's a ton of really powerful tools in here that Chetil's put together and freely makes available. But if you look in the bottom right, there's a slick little tool there.
Ooh, ESX to open intent 3D.
Okay.
So yeah, it's pretty easy to try out. You know, it doesn't take a lot of effort. There's a few of them out there. This is probably the most, GUI friendly. I've seen some like Python converters, the Python based converters and things like that as well. But this is a nice little graphical way of converting them. So yeah, I would say try it out. Really, as far as what you're going to get is the output is it's going to convert those echo files into the structure that that's supported in open intent, or just from the object standpoint. So it's not that it's like exporting the heat maps themselves out of Ekahau. So we're still having to rely on how Hamina is going to build that heat map, right? So yeah, there probably will be some differences between what you're visualizing in Ekahau to what you'd be visualizing in Hamina, just because there's differences in the heat map regions.
In terms of the hardware, do you have different features that like Sidekick will add there, and we don't have in Hamina, or this can be converted as well?
Oh, you're talking about like the survey hardware, like the Wi-Fi measurement devices?
Yeah, the information from the survey hardware. So maybe
no way. Sorry to interrupt you guys.
Go ahead.
Just brought in that file from that ESX into this tool. See the open intent stuff, and look. No way.
Pretty wild, isn't it?
There we go, Wally.
And then, you can go right from there and export it to open intent, and then you'd be able to bring it into Hamina.
Yeah, actually, that's amazing. Yeah.
Export to open intent. Sorry to interrupt you. I was just too excited. Go ahead, Wally. So it's exported.
Yeah. So as
just
far
bring
as
it as a zip file.
Yep. It just imports as a zip file. Yeah. Open intent.
Now I go to import.
Yep. And then you go to import and just do the same process in reverse.
From open intent, select file.
Now you've already you may not want to import this into maybe you do, but you might want to start with a clean project, because this is going to import that into the project you already have open. So maybe
Yeah.
start a new project and then do the import. Otherwise, yeah, it's going to bring all this into the existing project.
Into
that
this
you're working on.
beautiful, look at that piece
Yeah,
of
you don't
art,
want to ruin
man.
that.
Holy smokes, you have no idea. We
lovely.
spent all week on that building, and we're not even done yet. Let me create a new one. And then this is import from Ekahau. Oh man, this is awesome. Drew. Oh, I don't create this stuff. I go to import, right? In here. Import
Yep.
from
Yep. And then just go to the import. So click those two arrows and then go to import. Up at the top, the two
right
arrows.
here, this
Yep.
one.
Yes.
Okay, import,
That's
export.
the shortcut.
Import from, and then select file, and we put it, I guess, downloads here. OI export 3floors.zip, open. $3D.
Yeah, did it construct the building? Did it construct the building, or do you have to click the button to tell it to construct? I can't remember.
I don't know. Let's go to
well, just click the little hamburger menu thing there. It looks like it's just one floor, right? Yeah, it doesn't have the building constructed.
It doesn't have okay. But then I do because you know what? I imported the whole thing.
Yeah.
So
but you just have to click the button in Hamina to say construct building. It should do it. It just didn't do it automatically. I wasn't sure if it would do it automatically.
So much work. Okay, I'll do it just to. Okay, if I go over here to align floors, oh, there it is. So there's floor 0.
Oh, just hit construct building on the bottom.
Oh, it'll do it
for you.
Oh man, see, man, I'm
Save
learning
you all
so
those
much.
clicks, Renee.
I'm learning.
So the big thing that the construct building will do is it's going to cut away the extents of the building, right? So it'll cut through it should identify probably even the elevators and stuff like that, hopefully. But yeah, now when you go and look at this in 3D, you should see it's got all the extents and everything if you stack the floors. Yeah.
Man, I'm learning so much in this class I'm teaching. I'm so glad.
See the elevators? That's my favorite part. Flying to the elevators.
Man. So now.
See how it cut holes in the elevator
No,
floors?
I don't think the other one. Well, maybe I don't know if it had him, but you know, if an import from Ekahau gets me this far into Hamina, I'm in business. Because now having this the file, the building, all of these things created, that just gets me going in a way that I couldn't. You see, it even has like an access point right there. Let's see what access point that is. Aruba 635. See,
that's what you had in Ekahau, right?
That's what I had. I'm sure. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. See, Walid, there's your answer, amigo.
Amazing. Thank you, Gary.
Yes, I'm gonna have to bookmark this thing. Where's the this one?
Yeah, that JetSeal puts together a ton of free resources there. There's another one actually I just saw this morning on like the clutter data stuff. Where was that? I think somebody posted it in Wi-Fi Pros, if I remember right. Just glance at yeah, okay. Robin put in this one. I was just looking at this. This was pretty impressive too. If you want to get into all the really fancy 3D modeling stuff, this was pretty cool. They put together this whole attenuating object. Chettil has a bunch of this stuff on his site too. But yeah, this was pretty cool. If you scroll through here, you'll see there's like tons and tons of stuff that you can copy and paste into your projects. And it's all, freely.
That's a chair.
Oh, can you see
that? Look at that chair.
Yeah.
Holy
some serious detail.
It's a lot of time that this guy has.
A meeting with 8 chairs, meeting table with 8 chairs, like a round table, like yeah.
Okay, so if I copy this right here.
Yep.
It's copied, then can I just like go and paste it?
Yeah, paste it right in your project. Probably go to the 2D view first, but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're in 2D view on this one.
I'm in building.
Just go to the edit tool, yep, and just paste it. It'll put it in the top left corner, and then you can drag it into the position that you want. There you go. So you see up there in the top left. So what I always like to do is zoom in. Yeah, zoom in on there, and then just grab like a side of it, and now you can use the pan tool. You got it. Look at you.
Holy smoke. Well, guess how I learned that? The hard way, trying to figure out like this stupid thing. I just keep resizing the chair, resizing the. Oh man, this is like made for us. Look at this. Well, there's one more chair, but let's just paste it right here.
See what it looks like in 3D.
And let's. Let's make this in 3D.
Oh, we're on the wrong floor.
I'm on the wrong floor. Let me go over just current. And
Look at
that
those
was-
lovely chairs, nicely pushed
Was it
into
there?
the
Was it there?
table.
Oh, right here. Oh, get
That's a
out.
lot of detail. Like, look at the even arched backs on the chairs and
I
everything. Like,
know.
those look like some comfy chairs.
Yeah, they do. You can almost roll them in the room and just,
Yeah, that's some impressive detailed work there.
holy smokes.
Probably a little overkill, but yeah. it's
Yeah,
impressive.
but hey, overkill for whoever did it, but for us, it's
Oh,
like
where's
it's
my
already
audio?
there. And
lost you.
one of the things we were talking about is that yes,
There we go. You're back. Okay.
you're
Sorry,
back.
I lost you there for a little bit. Sorry if I was talking over
Oh,
you
no
guys.
problem. Was it
I
just
thought you were just
or-
like lost for words, but my audio just went out.
I'm in shock and But we were talking about that. Yes, maybe because Glenn is been a long time Ekahau user. Now he's seeing the light. Now showing him all this stuff. He said, "Yeah, he's been comparing. You know, Glenn is really thorough. He will go through stuff and he's been comparing Ekahau Hamina and said that yeah, it looks like the signal prediction, all the stuff is pretty accurate, but this one has more detail. When we're showing stuff to customers." Okay, we spend a lot of time explaining this to customers. It's so much easier and so much visual and so much professional looking when you have something like this to show for that when you just have white boxes and white everything everywhere or gray. So this one helps the visuals, and it also, yeah, you might say it's an overkill, but it looks professional. I mean, not right now because it doesn't match the map, but I could just resize this table and move chairs around and delete some, and it's just going to look very, very nice. So those things, once you show a project like this to a customer, they're like, I'm in. Where do I sign? Because
They will
it's
be.
easy. Very easy to show. So if I go
Well, and
back,
I think the cool part about this is that we never really had the time to do these kind of details either because it took so much time just to model the initial environment, right? The walls and, just initial kind of objects. So like it never made sense to put all this additional detail in, but now that we can do it in a matter of, minutes, construct an entire building, the framework of the building, like it actually, it might make sense to spend a day, modeling these kind of details because it's really gonna sell
now
that solution.
don't give me that. We don't have time to do all this because I know you guys, when you got Dan and Andrew, you were like drawing hotels and it's like, look, we designed this hotel and put the bed and the mattress and the pillows and the blanket. Like you have too much time on your
make sure you put the little mint on the bed.
Yeah. Yeah. Do the bird with the towel,
Yeah.
This is outstanding. I'm gonna have to bookmark this too.
Yeah, they said they have 263 objects in that database now. So that's pretty wild. And that's on top of the stuff that Chetziel already has, which is crazy.
Yeah,
too.
And this is free, right?
Yeah, this is all free stuff. Yeah, this is just
Hamina
users, like they, built this kind of stuff for themselves and sharing it with the community.
Wow. Amazing. Jerry, you're gonna have to come to class every day, man. Every time you come in, we all learn so much. Hey, Cedos is next week. You can come and probably teach us about Cedos.
I could learn something for sure.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, they have a lot of good stuff, things that I mean, every interface, and that's the cool thing about this class is that we're just learning about what's out there. Yeah. And then we just let people decide. We're not afraid to show them, what you can, what you cannot do. And people are just, excited about this because now they have access to all the tools and the training for free. And we're all learning. So thank you very much for making time and coming and teaching us stuff. Because now what we're going to be doing is talking about the switches stuff. Is there anything else you want to add?
There was a question on the hardware side. Do we want to talk about that real quick before I jump here? I don't remember exactly who was asking that. Was that Alex? Were you asking that?
Yeah. So it was Alex. Like the hardware is different. Do you have any idea if this hardware will have some information that is not compatible, or like the resolution of the what's the word? The spectrum analyzer might be different, and one can give you this graduation, the other this other graduation.
Yeah.
So
So you're just asking like kind of what's the similarities, what's the differences between the measurement hardware?
yeah, not exactly between the management hardware, but once I have the information there, it's interchangeable between the two softwares, or you think we might
Oh.
end up with some problems on doing this because
Yeah, I
this
don't.
thing
That's a
is not
good point.
supported.
Yeah, we talked about like bringing over like an Echo project into Hamina. I don't think I've seen anything where anybody's been able to bring over like survey data from Echo
Oh,
into Hamina.
so you basically are talking, what we just showed with open intent is for design. I don't think
Yes,
we
that's
have that for
simulation.
survey.
Yeah.
For
Yeah,
survey,
now that said, Open Intent has recently updated the schema to support measurement data as well. We are working on implementing that on the Hamina side, so I know at least I think in the initial phase you'll be able to export like survey data using Open Intent, yeah, from Hamina to Open Intent format. Currently, it only does do simulation both on the import and the export, but the Open Intent schema has recently been updated to support survey as well. So yeah, that is possible that you'll be able to do in the not so distant future, but as it stands today, yeah, it's purely simulation that goes through Open Intent.
Okay, got it.
So yeah, obviously on the hardware side, there's a lot of similarities. They're both measuring the same things as far as, beacons, probe responses, those kind of things, which is what it builds the heat maps based on your coverage, secondary coverage, SNR, all that kind of data comes from the same frames that we're measuring. And that's true for all the tools. Yeah, like the CDOS wave, it's all looking at the same information in that sense. Obviously, there's slight differences in the tools and how they represent that information and how they visualize it. But for the most part, the measurement hardware is looking at all the same things. There may be some differences in like the speed at what it scans and how you interface with the device, those kinds of things. But yeah, the big differentiators are going to come down to more on like the spectrum analysis side. That's where there's going to be some, I like to think of like what we've done at Hamina is we've kind of focused on like with the clip, which is what Fernay's showing here. That's the new hardware, the new kid on the block, if you will, where then we have the Nomad. Actually, if you scroll down a little bit, Fernay, there's a overview that shows like the clip and the Nomad kind of side by side. A little bit further down, yeah, right here. So yeah, if you go to the bullet points down below this, as far as Hamina's hardware goes, we've got the clip and then the Nomad. I always call the Nomad its big brother to the clip. So if you need more advanced troubleshooting workflows like detailed spectrum analysis, we support those workflows with the Nomad, where the clip is meant to be a bit more just site survey tool, right? Doing Wi-Fi 7 surveys at survey 6 gigahertz. Same capabilities between the two hardware when it comes to site surveys. Where the Nomad differentiates is the more advanced troubleshooting workflows, up to 4-channel packet captures, and then yeah, the spectrum analysis. So if spectrum analysis is the name of the game, and you need to be able to do spectrum analysis and need to be able to hunt down non-Wi-Fi sources of interference, the Nomad and Hamina Onsite does support that workflow, but it does require an optional spectrum analyzer module, and we support multiple there that you can see listed. So if you already own any of those, you can just plug those into the Nomad, and that enables that in-depth spectrum analysis. But even without that spectrum analyzer module, they both do what I like to call kind of light spectrum analysis, in the sense that it's going to measure like channel utilization per channel. It's going to measure station count per channel. So you do get some health information about the channels and the health of the spectrum, even without having like a true in-depth spectrum analyzer module connected for that rogue interference, not rogue, the like non-Wi-Fi interference hunting.
lights and sensors and thermostats, all that stuff.
Yep.
And one of the cool, and we haven't gotten to survey yet to look at all this stuff. We're going to see that later in this class. But one of the cool things with these devices is that you can use them also with Wi-Fi Explorer or the AirTool stuff to capture packets from Adrian Granados. You can use those for the Wi-Fi Explorer Pi, add this to your phone, and then use that as a remote sensor. So that's really cool.
Yeah, actually, the latest version of Wi-Fi Explorer Pi for iOS for like iPhone and iPad just was released, and that now includes Bluetooth support for the clip, so you don't even need a cable or anything. You can just clip that on a pocket or belt and have that in-depth
Yeah.
analysis that you get from Wi-Fi Explorer Pi and the Rogue AP Finder and that kind of stuff, all without any cables or straps or anything needed.
Yeah. That's really cool. Ceros, they were the first ones that gave us a survey tool with no cables. And I still like this a lot better because it has a screen and micro apps and things we can do. But there's still friction because you have to pair it and type the number and go to Bluetooth and remove it and sometimes add it. With the clip, holy smokes. You just get nearby and be like, hey, I found a clip. You want to use it? Like, sure, boom. And that's it. And you go. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to pair it. You don't have to type any codes or any numbers. This just blew my mind the first time I did it. It's really exciting. We'll get to that. Don't worry, guys. We'll get to it. All right. Now, let
Jerry,
me.
may I quickly ask?
Sorry, Jerry.
What's that?
Yeah, the question we also discussed earlier this week, where
Yeah.
we heard that the statement of Hamina that's like -65 should be -65 everywhere, where you measure it with the clip, with the Nomad, or just looking at your simulation. How do you match those numbers to each other? Because basically I compared the simulation with Hamina with the one from Ekahau, and it's identical. So that means that you must have somewhere either an offset between the devices and the simulation, or how should I see that and interpret then the results afterwards with a clip and a Nomad compared to reality?
That's a topic that's near and dear to my heart. How much time do I have, Renee? Do I have an hour to talk through this? Yeah, you could get me going on this topic for quite a while, but I'll try to keep it brief. So yeah, the what we've done at Hamina to try to simplify this, really what's a huge mess in our industry as a whole, all around, RSSI and, what we design for versus, what's in our validation and in our, what is our measurement device here. To try to essentially normalize all of that to simplify it, what we did was we started on the planner side and we said, okay, the planner, it's pretty simple. You base it off of FSPL, right? That free space path loss calculation. So when we say, like, when you use Hamina's tools and you use Hamina for the planning side, the design side, the survey side, or the live side, when we look at RSSI information, everything is based off of FSPL as the source of truth, as our rock. That's our baseline, right? So everything starts with FSPL, and then we carry that through our entire product line. So when you do a design and a simulation, and this is the same for, I'm sure, CDOS, and I know for Ekahau, the simulation is based on FSPL. Where things get really messy with some tools is that FSPL goes out the window when you go to do a site survey. And what I mean by that is if you do a design in a certain tool and you design for FSPL and then you go validate using their measurement device, that measurement device may not match FSPL. It may be, much hotter, it may be much weaker. But if you look at the raw data from that, it probably doesn't match what you designed for. And there's various reasons for that. But what we decided to do at Hamina was, okay, we're going to design for FSPL, and then any measurement devices that we, essentially recommend, so like the clip, the Nomad, we're going to normalize those devices to FSPL. So we actually intentionally tune those devices to match the FSPL measurements as close as we can. There's obviously some variation in there, but for the most part, that's what we've tuned them to do. So you have the confidence when you do your design and you do your validation, those should match 1-to-1. So that then opens up the other piece of this kind of can of worms of, well, that doesn't necessarily mean that matches what my least capable device is or the most critical device on my network, which, yes, that's true, but at least now we have a rock, we have that baseline that we use in our design and our validation, and then we just offset the requirements, or I don't even like to use the word offset, but we adjust our requirements based on that FSPL to what we're designing for. So when we do a design in the industry standard is we design for minus 65. And the reason we design for minus 65 isn't because we need every device on the network to hear minus 65 to be a good user experience. We know that we can still get a good user experience if that device is hearing at, minus 67, minus 68. Obviously, noise and all that kind of stuff being, part of that factor as well, like Ferne's playing around with there. But yes, the big thing here is that, where was I going with that? So the adjusting those thresholds then. So if we design for minus 65, what I've typically found is like my iPhone hears about 2 to 3 dB worse than what FSPL is. So it's really not that far off. So that's the other beauty of this, is that what you design for to what you validate for should actually match pretty closely with these lesser capable devices, probably a few dB hotter than what those devices are going to hear. But if we design for minus 65, that means my iPhone should be hearing at minus 67 to minus 68 everywhere, I've designed and validated for.
No,
So
but then here's the other thing, because help me understand what you just described about the tuning of the device to match free space path loss. Because when I get a signal, if I'm with the clip here listening to this access point and I hear a signal from it at next 65, that's what that device, from that angle that I'm holding it or how I'm walking, is going to perceive those signals. So when you say you tune it to match free space path loss, tune it like based on what? Because when we're designing, we have control over everything, right? We have the access point, and then we add the attenuation areas, and then all of this is what everybody's doing, that they'll just come and let me just add walls in here, and then it's just doing math that it sends this AP with those radiation patterns on the antennas is sending waves and doing free space path loss calculations, and then we simulate all these areas, and then what we see is simulated. Once you go on site and you're here and you measure, I don't know, it says right there it should be next 67 in the air, 1 meter off the ground. If you measure with the clip, but you have the clip on your hip, I mean, if it's your hip, you're like much higher than my hip, because I'm going to be closer to the ground. So, that, and we joke about it because I always, use my friend Brian. He used to work with me at the school district. And the reality is that, he, back in the day of Ekahau and the survey trays and the computers, and the NICs. Remember the NICs that we had, the proxy NICs?
Oh, yeah.
So Brian, he liked to carry his computer up here and the NICs on the back with Velcro. Remember that?
Yeah.
I mean,
I use Legos, but yeah.
Yeah, Legos. See, the surveys he did, they look so amazing. The ones I did with my tray down low, they were not as good as Brian's. Why? Because Brian has his computer always carrying it like this. With the next year, he was just like 3 feet away from the APs or 4 feet away from the APs. So his surveys look so good. But mine, with the survey tray down low, didn't look as good as his. There's a big difference on how you're wearing the device. If you're wearing it here and you're wearing it down there, then the readings are going to be different. So when you say tune it to match free space path loss, what do you mean tune it? How do you tune it?
I'm sorry. Yeah, probably that you're asking if we can add fade margin and body loss to the design. That way that you can avoid that issue.
Well, and that's the other topic, because we've done, and this is not just a Hamina thing. This is an Ekahau thing, and I've shown you earlier this week, that survey that I did with the sidekick up above in the open football field. All of the heat maps look different depending if it was going east-west or north-south. All the heat maps were different. And then
and you can adjust that in the simulation. So yeah, you could put those parameters into here if you want to match up what you're doing in the validation side. So for example, if you go to, you could adjust it here, but I would adjust it on the heat map setting, because that's what we're basing this off of, is the FSPL
like
part.
Down here.
So if you go to there, and then go under the global settings, and then you could adjust the client height. So that's going to adjust the visualization. And just to show you what you're doing here, look at this in 3D and then go back into those settings and you'll have another option. So if you go back into the legend here, go to global settings and toggle that one that says display heat map at client height, toggle that on. And now as you adjust that slider, you'll see it's kind of like, I like to think it's like a fishbowl here, right? And we're raising and lowering the water level here in the tank. But yes, this is adjusting that visualization height. So when we talk about FSPL, this is what we're kind of, saying if you want to see, okay, if somebody that's doing the survey is, holding the device 2 or 3 dB higher than where you are, you can effectively simulate that in the FSPL scenario here and see at that height, is there going to be a significant difference, if we lower the survey device. So if we're wearing the device up on our shoulder or on our hip, or the person that's surveying is, 1 meter taller than the other person, how does that affect the results in that survey? So we should be able to effectively kind of mirror that if you want to get that detailed.
And let me show you where what he's describing is really important. Remember, we talked about this survey earlier this week. This is a senior care facility, okay? And then I was telling him that, people had, Fernand has a fetish for bathrooms because I'm always like taking pictures when I'm surveying bathrooms and stuff. And that's because we design in schools, we design in these senior care facilities.
Yeah,
and this,
that's a critical area.
Like, that's a critical area where the senior citizens fall and break their hips all the time in the bathrooms, in the shower. So we want to make sure, here, let me hide the walls in here. Let me just not show, go to 2D. Oh, but when I go to 3D, it's going to show the walls no matter what, right?
Yeah, they do show in 3D.
So change the transparency. Well, let me just...
just enable transparency. There you go.
Transparency. See, I've learned something. I know a little bit about Hamina. So I don't remember where I enabled that. I don't remember where I enabled that, but isn't it here?
No, go back to 3D. Just go back to 3D and then toggle on under the little hamburger menu thing there. To click on that and then enable transparency.
There we go.
You can do it for the whole building. You could do it on a per wall segment or on a per wall material as well, but this just does it for the whole building.
For everybody. Oh, perfect. Okay. So if we go back to that setting about changing the height, I want to see if the coverage in the bathrooms, let's just use this bathroom over here. If the coverage in the bathroom is going to be sufficient, and at ground level, what is that coverage going to be? See, because
so this opens up a whole other can of worms, right? Because this if on the ground is critical to the Wi-Fi, normally we don't model all those details, right? Of like the sink and the cabinets and the toilet and all these other things that would be below that 1 meter height. Because generally we don't need to validate that. But if in this, that's critical at the floor level, obviously if we model all those little details in here, like we were just looking at all that clutter data, or that clutter information, you could add all those additional details in here. And now that's going to be much more accurate at that floor level. But right now we're missing a lot of those details.
Yeah, we're not modeling the cabinets and the toilets and the sinks and the tub, and we're just doing walls and doors. That's it. And I was showing him the pictures of this site because also the survey when I went over, it was just still under construction. There were boxes everywhere and piles of tools and things. So what I got on the survey it was that the data that I showed included all those. And maybe that was not a very good representation, but yes, I surveyed every corner of this place just for that, just to get enough info of every area that I needed Wi-Fi. The bedroom, the kitchen area, the bathrooms, the toilets, all that stuff needed to be analyzed and compared. And this is my always all-time favorite feature in Hamina, is that I can do a design, and then once I go and do a survey, I can just compare, like by the spot. I can zoom in, I can tilt, I can move this guy around, and I can just switch from one to the other, and it keeps where I was, the area of interest. This is awesome. Nobody else does this, and I love it. All right. Walid, go ahead.
Jerry, while you are here, like yesterday you mentioned that AFC is working in United States, Canada, and Mexico. So I tried to apply like outdoor access points in Canada, and it doesn't show the AFC button. So when I
Interesting.
went to the website, it shows only it works if it works in if the GPS coordinates are in the United States.
Ah,
Is that
interesting.
expected? Is that expected, or is that something that?
That's a good question. I guess I haven't tried doing anything in Canada, but my understanding is that Canada does now have AFC providers. So I wonder if that's something to do with the AFC provider that we're using.
Because you're
If
using
they
the
don't.
Wi-Fi Alliance, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So maybe they should be also one in there, right? I mean,
I would
that's not.
think so, but that would be my first kind of thought. But let me just do a quick test here. Although, yeah, I would have to get some coordinates. Yeah, it'll take me a little bit to set that up because I'll have to get one that has GPS coordinates in Canada. Or if you want to share that project with me, I could check it out on my side and see if it
It's
probably is
not
just
a
something
project
where.
like yeah, I was just trying to play with it. Like I said, a Costco near from me, like it doesn't work. So
Okay.
I moved to Costco, like place in Syracuse. So it works. Like when
Okay.
I checked it on the website, it says that it has to be on United States only and have GPS coordinate
Okay.
on United States.
Okay.
Yeah,
I will
AFC
look into that then. That might be something we need to update on our side now because I don't know if you know, but my understanding is yeah, Canada does now have AFC. Is that enabled now?
I
well,
think so. And it's been for
It
a few
is.
weeks, right, Mario? You looked
in
into that one?
Canada, AFC was like AFC was one of the first. Like Canada was the first to implement AFC like 3 years ago. Um, and it's you have to do it through ISED, so it's Industry Canada.
Okay. So that might be
Yeah,
maybe it's something with Wi-Fi Alliance then that we have to maybe look at if they don't have that database or what.
Yeah,
I could try to
find
get
out.
you where it goes. Like I've had to do it with Cambium point-to-point links here, so I can see try to see exactly where the what address it hits to get its AFC.
Okay.
Okay. Glenn, go ahead. You have a question?
Yeah, to conclude on the offset part, so that I understand. So you're basically just offsetting, to describe it, your received value with your known MIMO amplification and the antenna gain that you know from your own device to basically go back to the free space path loss result to kind of make the device itself
You're
go
saying how
away.
are we how are we tuning it to FSPL? Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Yeah, so what we've done is per channel we actually tune it. So it's actually in some sense more simpler than what I think you're thinking, but also in other ways it's more complicated because each channel we have to tune to that FSPL. And so what
Mm-hmm.
we've done is we've basically created a baseline for the device, testing it on each channel and how it hears and how that compares to FSPL. And then we apply a tuning per channel, a plus or minus dB to make that match up to what the FSPL should be on that channel. So we've done a lot of a lot of initial testing with the hardware and the antennas and the radios and how they hear on each channel. And it was very interesting with some of that testing on just how much these devices can vary,
Mm-hmm.
even channel to channel, right? Like not even so much like uniband, but even within the same uniband, which is true for all devices, not just these measurement devices, but yeah, even like your iPhones and things like that. So that's another piece of the kind of equation to consider is like, you can't just test these devices on 2.4, 5, or 6 gigahertz, especially when we're talking like 6 gigahertz in parts of the world with like 1200 megahertz. There can be drastic difference with some of those devices where they might perform very well on like the lower band, but may perform very poorly or very far off on like the upper frequencies. And then in that sense, if that is the case, if that AP changes channels and goes from a low band to a high band channel, that can potentially have very significant results where it's like, hey, this device worked perfectly fine last week, and now this week, it's performing terribly, and all of a sudden you realize, oh, the AP changed channels, and now all of a sudden that same client that worked fine last week no longer is performing as it was.
Now, another important question. How do you change this man into a walrus?
You don't know how to do that? I thought I saw you doing that the other day.
I did, but I don't know how I did it. I don't remember. I'm like, oh, there's a walrus. I'm like, oh, how did I get the walrus, not the little man?
You didn't even know how you got the walrus.
Yeah, yeah.
The very secretive combination of keys.
Oh, okay. What
if
do
you
I press?
If you press the W key.
W. Oh, that's it. Ah, there we go. I was trying to figure out, like, where did I click?
There's
Okay.
a few other ones in there too.
Go ahead. We're waiting.
You can take it one step further, I think, and hit after you hit W, if you hit C, I think it will do something different as well. Yeah, there you
Oh,
go.
change the color. It puts the Cero's color. See, Cero is all purple. Look at that. Did you match
So
their color?
that's
Their
actually that was actually a something for Mr. Coleman. So purple
for
is also
extreme?
the extreme networks. So I think UC put that Easter egg in there for Mr. Coleman because he appreciates those kind of little Easter eggs in there. So if you know David Coleman, one of the authors of the C2BNP books, yeah, he appreciates.
That's what the C is for. Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. There's some other ones. I don't remember which ones are all still in here. Some of them are no longer there, but I think there's an H might do something. You might have to
WH W.
No.
No, WC.
What about G? Does G do anything? Yeah,
Oh,
there you go.
Who's
Do you know
that?
what that is?
Hang on.
If you know UC, you might be able to figure out who that guy is.
Is that Nicolas Cage?
Nope.
Who's that?
That would be a good guess, though.
Yeah.
Who's the other movie that UC likes to reference?
I don't know. Oh,
The
Matrix, but
most popular Christmas movie.
I don't watch Christmas.
Nobody
movies.
knows? Nobody
Yeah, from
recognizes
Die
that guy?
Hard.
There.
Die Hard.
It
Bruce
is
Willis?
from, so it's not, it is from Die Hard. Yes, Die Hard is the movie. So that is
Yeah.
Mr. Hans
It's-
Gruber
yeah.
Hans,
from
yeah,
Die
Ian.
Hard. So
Ian
that's
Ford
the
Hans.
reason for the G is for the Hans Gruber. So yeah, that is Hans Gruber, the bad guy from Die Hard.
All right, there you have it, kids. A piece of
All
completely,
the valuable things you learn on these calls.
yeah, all the a whole bunch of irrelevant information. It's completely useless for this class, but it's really cool, you know.
On that note, I should probably stop distracting you guys and get back to some other things.
No. This is great. This is great because I know this week I had a walrus and said, how did I get that walrus in there? All right, perfect. There you have it. Now, switches. Now, don't leave. If you have to leave, go ahead, but don't leave because now we're going to look at this stuff like for 3 days, like we're going to learn about switches and all this stuff in here. And we just not get distracted. We just learn other things. Okay. This is great. All the AFC stuff, you don't get that in class. Some guy was asking me or telling me yesterday, you know, that what's the difference between the like the official class and this is that here, you know, nobody's got the obligation to be here and we don't have an agenda to like, we have to finish this right now because we don't have more time. Like we're learning. Okay. That's what we're doing. Just hanging out, chilling, no pressure. And then we're just going through the whole learning of stuff that even maybe doesn't concern us, like AFC. I mean, maybe you're in Europe, it's like, well, that's not a thing right now, but maybe it's going to be for people in the US and designing in stadiums, open spaces, or even indoors using standard power. We have to understand that. You know, those are things as Jerry was describing, when we were doing the thing in Canada. Yes, when you are in 6 gigahertz and you go to a narrower channel, you have less transmit power that you can use because there's that limitation. You go to wider channel, then you're going to have more power. But then, you know, you're going to lose channel utilization, channel reuse. Then in this case, to add switches to the right, remember, every time you click on something here, to the options for that menu will come up here to the right of the screen. So if I click on this switching, what is it called? Cable switches and more. Let me hover over switches, cables and more. There is also number 9 that you can press and it will bring you here. Here are the options. You can add an MDF, main distribution facility, or IDF, intermediate distribution facility. Somebody posted in LinkedIn, like, what do you use, MDF, IDF, or data closet? Well, it's also called telecommunication room, a TR. So whatever it is, we're talking about the main distribution facility. Where are we going to place that one? Well, we all know that usually goes in the bathroom. Where's the bathroom in here? Here, I just put it right there next to that bathroom. I had a place where they placed the data closet past the ladies' bathroom in a high school. It was not the MDF, it was one of the IDF. And it's like, whose idea was it to place it over there? Of course, I'm just using this as an example. I'm going to place it over here. And I'm kidding, okay? Until I go, really, in the bathrooms, that's where it's go? No, they don't go in bathrooms. But they just use this room here as an example. Notice that as soon as I place that data closet in here, automatically, the access points now have a purple line coming over here. Hey, why is it purple? Because I pressed that W before, or that C, the comment, or that's the color it's supposed to be.
No, that's the color. Yeah, that's just
okay.
how it always is.
Okay. I was just going to start pressing keys like, oh, what happens if I press delete the whole thing? Reset the project. So automatically, it's going to figure out the distance from each access points to this data closet. Is that true on this floor only, Jerry? Or is that every AP is going to go to that closet?
Yeah, by default, it's gonna route those cables to wherever that endpoint. If there isn't one on the floor that the APs are on, it's going to automatically route to the switch that's on the nearest floor.
And same as with the access points, notice that icon has an arrow and starts pointing that whatever that closet is down below. If I go to the floor where it is, it just the color, the full color and full everything. If you go to the floor below, now it's going to show that data closet is up above. I can select that guy. I cannot like move it in here. I cannot move it. I can go to the floor where it is, and then that's when I can just select it and just move it around where it needs to go. Maybe how about we put it here next to the elevator? All right, here we go. Now it automatically does that. Now, before I even add any more closets or anything, why is this useful? Because now Hamina is doing all the math for you, and it's trying to calculate all of the distances. Is it in the bill of materials? Does that have a summary that is going to give you like how much cable you need? Okay, yep. So Jerry, from here, now that all I did was I just dropped the MDF somewhere in the building. It automatically brought all of the access points cabling to this location. Is it calculating the ups and the downs and all that stuff, or just the horizontal?
Yeah, calculates both the horizontal and the vertical. So depending on the height of the AP, that adjusts the vertical length.
Height of the floor,
the
ceiling on each floor. If I'm on the floor above, then it calculates the going down.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The vertical distance then from that AP all the way down to the switch on the floor below.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as you can see, let me just go back because it was just one click, man, and I ended up in there. I added that guy. If I come to the report button, this little notepad in here, there is where we create a report. We created one yesterday or the day before and showed them how to share that with others and send them the link and how to share this with clients, and clients have all that visibility. There is an option in here called Bill of Materials, BOM. And there it shows how many access points, which model, which ones are on the ceiling, how many rackets we have, where they are. We just have one MDF, and notice it gives me an estimate. Let's see what that is. Cable lengths include slack plus 20% for direct routes, plus 10% for trade routes. And it gives me that I'm going to need about 522 meters for this. And it says that there are 23 cables of varying lengths. This is good. It gives you an idea of at least, how much cable you're going to need, even including some slack in there. That's great. All right. Now, if I want to add more data closet, let's go then to another floor. Let's go to the first floor and let's add an IDF in here somewhere. let's place one in this little room right there. Oh, but it's not an MDF. We can just change this to an IDF. Let me select it, and then change it. Now this is an IDF. What's the difference between those two? Is there any change? Or just
no, it's really just a labeling. It's just so you
Okay.
can indicate where the MDF is in the building, where the IDF. They're just essentially labels.
Perfect. And then now that I have added this other closet on the first floor, notice that all of these APs are not going to the closet above. They're coming to this data closet. If I go to the second floor, then all the APs in here are going to the MDF. If I go to the floor above, the third floor, those guys are going to the floor below. Oh, and looks like these ones on this side will go to that side. Huh. It's smart enough to find the closest one vertically on these ones. Pretty cool. Now, this is just adding data closets. I have not added any switches, because see, that's the name of this option here, switches, cables, and more. We just added the data closets, and we added, it automatically added the cabling. Now, there is an option here also to add switches. Now, Jared, these switches get added to the IDFs. Do I drop them? Is there a place where I need to drop them?
No, so this would be if you just want to add like an individual switch. You don't want to build out like a full rack. It's just an individual switch, maybe in a closet somewhere. This is just kind of the simple way of adding a switch, or a router would be the other option. But yes, this is just a switch. So this would be typically in place of the IDF. Now in the IDF, you can populate, those racks. You can say, okay, we've got, 2 different switch stacks in the IDF, and it's got this many switches in each switch stack, and you can populate those.
Okay, so let me go to the second floor, click the MDF. When I click the MDF, it shows MDF, and then here, the stack one, what switches am I going to add? What's this 10?
So you could,
what's that number?
Yeah, so you could put like, 1 switch, 2 switches, however many switches are in that switch stack.
Let's just say we're going to put 6 switches
in that stack, how many ports each switch has. So if they're 24 port switches, 48 port switches, and then how much PoE each switch has as well.
So, and also, can we add like a patch panels, a patch cores, and and all of that, or is too much?
Yeah, it's too much.
You want to add rack screws too, and little things that make your fingers bleed? Come on, man, get real.
But to that point, one of the things that we do calculate, if you go to the cable and powering details, Fernay, I think you briefly mentioned this, but just to kind of expand on that, if you hover over where it says like copper cable length, see the little question mark after the 92.330 meters up at right there. So what it is doing is it takes the full length of the cable, and then it does add an additional 20% for what's called direct routes versus tray routes, which is right now what we have as a direct route. It's not a tray route. We can enhance that further or make that more accurate by defining the specific cable pathing. But it will add at least that 20% kind of buffer. So that way that will account for things like service loops and stuff that would be needed in addition to the vertical and horizontal run. But yeah, it does not account for, patch cables, patch panels, any of those kind of details. That's kind of where we've drawn the line so far on the network planning piece of this. But yeah, we have added some stuff recently. I don't know if you're even aware of this, Fernay, where you can now add the connections between the switches or between like the MDF and the IDF. You can add those
that was a
now.
question I was going to ask, if you have a way to add the backhaul. And
yes. Yeah, and you can specify if it's fiber or copper. So if you just click that add connection button on the bottom of that, and now you can specify, okay, where do you want that MDF to connect to? And so right now by default it's connecting to, it looks like the floor 1 and the IDF 1, and then you can specify if you want to add another connection or just have that one connection to that.
That's
IDF
if I have, if I go to the third floor and add another data closet in here. If I add an IDF, and let's just put it in this room right there, then I assume if I go to the MDF, actually here I can just do
you could do it from there too. So select the if you select the IDF, and then you can add the connection from that side as well. So you can add the connection from either side of it.
But this is nice. Yeah, because sometimes you have IDFs connected to other IDFs, not necessarily going to the MDF. So this will give you this documentation. Now, well, where is this going to have value? If I go to the report.
Yeah, both in the bill of materials and the cabling power details, you'll see that now. So now you'll see the fiber cable lines have been added. So you've got your fiber runs as well as the SFPs that are going to be needed for those fiber terminations.
Now, no, Guillermo is not going to tell you if it's single mode or multi-mode, okay?
Yeah. That's also where we drew the line. We started going down that path and we're like, all right, we're not ready to venture into that territory yet. Users can add descriptions in there and stuff like that. But it's that constant balance of like trying to add value to the users while not overcomplicating the UI. And that's where we decided to draw the line.
Bobby asks if, well, actually, there is a Simon. Does it flag an alert if an AP distance is close to 100 meters? Yes, I think it highlights that in red. I think we saw that.
Yep.
In here, there was something red. Oh, it probably fixed it already. But yeah, it will highlight in red.
It's in the power and cabling details. But I think you'd have to move an AP because I think right now everything's within spec. Everything's under 100-meter distance.
Yeah.
But yes, if you grab an AP and throw it way outside of the building, you'll see it'll flag that as like, that's too far away from the switch. So just grab an AP. Throw
this is such a small place that even if I drag an access point.
But put it outside the building. Put it like way out there. Use the edit tool. Just grab it and put it like way outside of the building, like out in the open space. You can put it like wherever you want on the map. So you even have to go further than that. So it's pretty small little area. But once you get it far enough away, there you go.
It's red now.
Yep.
So if
you go back to that power and cabling details, it'll tell you exactly how far it is, and it'll flag that particular run. Not the bill of materials, but the power and cabling details. There's two different reports.
That would be for the data closet, right?
Yes, exactly. Any of the switches or data closets can pull this detail up. And now if you scroll down. Oh yeah, that's it. That's the one.
It's right here. So that cable is 163 meters.
Yep.
Very nice.
So very useful for your warehouse deployments, particularly if
here's when you do something like this, and then that's when you and your design say like, man, if you're gonna put an access point there, we're gonna need to either, I don't know, run fiber to it, or are we gonna create an IDF somewhere else, or maybe we're not gonna go to that closet, we're gonna have to go to a different data closet. So this helps you a lot.
And then that'll also help you to figure out if you do need to add another IDF, where is the ideal location to put that IDF based on all the other equipment that's around there.
Because if I go to the switching and then I'm on IDF, and let's say I place another IDF here, that cable still automatically comes here, but it's still far away. So what if I then place that IDF about here? Then, how about there? So now it's good, but this guy has no connection. I'll have to come here and add a connection to that IDF and say, I'm going to send you over to either another IDF and it tells you which floor, which IDF, or the MDF on the second floor.
And boom, same thing here where you could figure, okay, do we actually need to use fiber, or could we do a copper run? And then you can also verify, okay, is it going to be too far away from that to do a copper run? So you can, figure out, do we actually need fiber?
What if I'm going to have a point-to-point?
You could also you're saying mesh?
I'm playing Guillermo here. Like, hey, I want more. How do I add a point-to-point link in here, for that IDF? Because I have done that.
Point-to-point, what do you mean?
Wireless links.
Oh,
I have right now we have a warehouse that.
But you're saying between the IDF, or you're saying instead of adding an IDF?
The fleet shop. The fleet shop is 40 meters away from the main warehouse, and then that's a new addition. And we need to either trench and run fiber, or run copper, or do a point-to-point from building to building. So maybe you don't calculate the thing, but then add the option here, like there's going to be a point-to-point link.
Oh, you could simulate it and just add an access point and say you want it to connect instead of over the wired connection, over a wireless connection.
Oh, really?
How would I do that? Just place two APs. So put an AP next to the IDF so it'll connect to. Well, I guess you already have one AP.
Let me remove this.
You want to keep that.
Okay.
I see what you're saying. You want to go from that IDF to the building. Okay, yeah.
Yes.
So put
Point to point.
an AP, maybe on the outside of the building.
Okay. Let me grab an access point. Let's get a ubiquity.
Yeah, you can delete that fiber on. I see what you're trying to do now.
Yeah. So let me just go
But either
back.
way, yeah, you can do it in either order.
Delete this guy. Okay.
Yep.
Let me then
So
go out an access point.
Yep.
And let's
Maybe do something with like a more directional antenna, but whatever you want to use, yeah.
I want to use a nano loco. A loco. Oh, there's no loco here. How come there's not? What was those, like the B5s or nano HD? Is that
Sure.
somebody, some ubiquity guy here? Give me a model. What's the model of these guys? I have a couple of ubiquities. I don't remember what the models
Put
are.
a nice E7 on there.
Yeah, I can do that.
The U7 outdoor
U7
has a nice the U7 outdoor has a nice
EU
narrow beam.
Yeah,
oh, look
nice
at that.
directional.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Okay, let's place
Probably
one
a little
of those.
overkill, but that'll work.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we want the heat map to show, you would need to
go to the area.
delete the scope zone or add a scope zone. Yeah, you could add a scope zone. Just kind of add a big scope zone out in the open area here, yeah. And then just mark it as in scope.
Where did it go?
On the bottom there, see the toolbar?
Oh, here we go.
Is that marked as? Okay, it is marked as
it
in
is,
scope. Okay, so now
nice.
if you go and go back to the APs. Oh, you know what though? But we're off the floor plan, so that's okay. We'll still see the mesh link, so you can still simulate this. It just won't show the heat map because we're off of the page. But if you do the other AP now on the building, so put one on the building.
Right here, and then aim it in the other direction.
Yeah. And then what we'd want to do is take that access point that's next to the switch.
This one?
Yep, the remote switch out there. Select that one, and then go to the show more. And then you're going to change it at the bottom there from nearest switch to say mesh. So I guess this isn't exactly what you're wanting to do, but
it's the same principle.
Yeah, same principle. So it doesn't show the wired connection now to that IDF, but you could obviously put that next to it or add a map node or something like that that indicates that that's wired to the IDF.
That's going to be a point-to-point.
Yep.
This is exactly what I was asking for.
And if you click those arrows, it will give you details about the connection quality, show you what backhaul it's using. And so it's using the 5 gigahertz radios. You could switch it to tell it to use like 6 gigahertz or something as well. But yeah, this all plays into that.
Is amazing because we have to do this all the time. We are, like when I was at the school district, we were doing point-to-point links to the baseball field. Another point-to-point, to the transportation department and stuff like that. So this is great for designing this.
Yeah.
All right.
Perfect use case for it. Yeah, you can do point-to-point and point-to-multi-point. We only do single hop mesh right now. We don't do multi-hop. Well, there's technically a hack. You can get it to do multi-hop, but it's not officially supported. But officially, we only support point-to-point and point-to-multi-point designs.
Once we get to stadiums, we're gonna do this because we're gonna have bigger spaces and stuff. This is, man, I'm so glad I came to class. See, I keep saying that. Sorry, guys, but I'm just excited. Holy smokes! Any day I learn something, that's a great day for me, and I've learned so much about Hamina. See, when I thought I knew Hamina, like I knew I didn't know a lot of stuff, but man, I was just joking like a point-to-point link, and then there comes Jerry and it's like, oh yeah, here's how you do it.
Yeah,
beautiful.
It's possible.
Point-to-point
cool.
here.
I gotta jump, but yeah, I appreciate the time to comment on your call here a little bit.
I'm just gonna keep talking here, like pretending like I know what I'm talking about, and anything that I have doubts, I'll let you know tomorrow or whenever the next session is. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. So here's the next one. Now that we have added switches and IDFs and MDFs, and now that we learned from Jerry directly from Hamina how to add this point-to-point, how to calculate and estimate these point-to-point links. This is great. We have to do this all the time. So now let me show you then how to add other devices, because yes, wired clients and we can add the cable trays and cable risers. But what I care more about before we end this session, because we're about to end, is going to be the wire clients. When you are calculating budget, the PoE budget and all the stuff, that comes into play. Let me actually remove this. I just have the access points and walls and attenuation objects, and so that I can get rid of this exclusion area. There we go. Let's add wire devices. Wow, why? This is a Wi-Fi design class, man. Yeah. And once you start adding like cameras or card readers or computers or desk phones, then that starts sucking power out of your switches. So if I add, let's say I have a desk phone in this room and another one in this conference room and another one in this conference room, and I add another phone here and another phone there, and I'm just adding phones everywhere in every table in every area, then let's add some also cameras. Let's add some camera, let's say on this corner. Let's add another camera on this hallway, and let's add another camera in here, and then another camera, let's say in this hallway. There we go. So now that I added those devices, notice that that switch, it says it's over capacity. You have 6 APs and 6 wire devices, and then the ports used is going to give you also count like, okay, if you're going to add this many devices, then your 24 port switch or your 48 port switch doesn't have enough ports. You don't have enough power. So it gives you heads up on like, hey, you know, depending on all the stuff you're adding and based on what you're adding, we're not going to have either enough ports on those switch or enough PoE on those switch. So let's add some other devices in here. Let's see, you can just and also cabling is going to start, because if I now go to the bill of materials, it's going to show me all of that. Copper cable, notice I need more cable. Why? Because I need 36 cables. Some fiber cables, and it's going to show you. Yeah.
So stupid question. So in the BOM or in the design, can we define 2 different cables, one indoor and another outdoor, in case that we want to use an outdoor for a camera?
I don't think so. It just keeps track of cable distances. Then, because you know that now that's just going to be another decision that you have to do with the cabling installers. Is it going to be plenum rated cables? Is it going to be direct burial cables for outdoor? Is it going to be Cat 6E? Is it going to be Cat 7? What type of cable? But at least it gives you distances. It gives you an idea. You can add notes. You can add notes to those and say, like, you know, this one has to be plenum rated. So, or it has to be in some places, you cannot just lay the cables around. They have to be in a pipe. Okay. Then you're going to have to run piping for it. Now that I have added these devices, okay, by looking at these details, it's going to break it more like in this switch. You're going to have these APs, and you're going to have cameras, and you're going to have desk phones. And here's kind of the power budget and the cable length for each one of these devices you're adding. So it gives you an idea, okay? It gets you like halfway there of what you need and if you need more switches. Because if now I go to this IDF, let me just switch to IDFs. Let me select this guy over here. If I select this switch, now I have a question though. If I have an IDF, notice that some stuff is coming here and some stuff is coming to this. Oh, because I added that switch by itself. So what happens then if I go to the IDF, let me just select the IDF and I delete this switch. But if I delete this switch, so now all of these guys will go to that IDF. And since I have the switch in here in one stack, then now it seems to be fine. If I go to the cabling and power details, now it's all fine, because since I had just a switch, it went to that switch and they're like, yeah, this switch not now. But since I deleted that, it came to that IDF that has more switches in the stack in that IDF. And it's like, yeah, no red signs anywhere. Port use, 22 switches, 22 switch ports out of 288 ports that I have available in this data closet. So, and this is all the power I have. It's like, yeah, we got plenty. And we can start playing with adding more devices and adding more switches. I'm not trying to show you how to do this design here. I'm just trying to show you what can be possible with the tool that is going to make your life easier when it comes to design. Because now, notice all of the other devices we can add. When we go to wire devices, you come over here, wire clients, you can just add computers. These are desktop computers. You can just add, and this is going to take care of switch ports and cable runs, displays, door locks, environment sensor, this is all IoT stuff. Yes, lights. I had a place where they installed the lights, and the lights were smart and they were connected to a system, and there was a Cat 5e cable going to one of the lamps, and they were daisy chained. So yes, you can add all of that here, and it's also start giving you counts for cables and all this stuff. All right, questions up to this point?
Fernay, and for adding risers, and can we follow an existing cable tray?
Yes, we can add a cable tray over here. If you go to cable trays, watch this. If I am on cable tray, because look at the cables, they're just like going everywhere right now. If I add a cable tray, see, magnet distance. It's a magnet distance. Is that a cabling term? Magnet distance? Never heard of that. Where's Jerry? Okay, we'll ask Jerry later. So if I
the
draw,
magnet distance it'll tell you which, like, how far the access points will go until it gets into the riser. So if you have like your access points just sitting in limbo, and then you want your riser to be just down the hallway, you'll have to add your magnet distance so it knows where to go.
Okay. So, okay, that makes sense then. So if it's further than that, then what is it going to do? I don't know. Let's find out.
It'll find the nearest path.
Okay.
So
yeah. I just did the cable tray, did one click here. Let's add it down the hallway all the way to the end of the hallway. Watch what's going to happen. Eyes on the screen. If I click right here, all of the cables reorganize and go to their closest cable tray. See, all of these guys are going over there. If I add another segment of cable tray, let's say from here, click, all the way to the end of this hallway right there, click. Then all of these guys are going to go, let me right click, they're going to go to the closest tray.
Oh, it also affected the radiation of the access points. I can see some weakness when you added the cable tray.
It affected what?
I mean, it affected the coverage. Like when you added
yeah, because that's just another obstacle. That's just another thing out there. And if it's below, I wonder where you set the height of those cable trays, and can you see them in 3D? Let's find out. Oh, let's change this height as well. Let's change the client height, put it at 90 centimeters. There we go. All right. Or, since we don't care about that one so much right now, let's just change the heat map. There we go. So it's just the ground level. Okay. I don't think it does like show the cable. It just shows it on the ground, but of course it's going to be up high. Right? Let me see. Is it showing any access points in here? Don't I have any access points? Yeah, I do have access points in here. Here's the link, point-to-point link. This is really cool, isn't it, Larry? Look at that. Point-to-point, man. I had no idea they could do that. Man, I'm liking Hamina even more so. I mean, it's been my #1 design tool for a while, but now it's even more because there's more features and stuff that I didn't know about. Really cool, really nice. Let's go back to the cable tray stuff. So now with that, we cover the options in here of adding switches adding MDFs and IDFs and how to connect them. We also added the wire clients, cable trays, and these cable risers. This is going to be interesting. Above floor, below floor, above and below floors, all floors. Magnet distance, 10 meters. Same thing, huh? Same principle. So what if I added one here? What does that do? If I add, ideally, all those data closets are, on top of each other. But in this case, if they're not, what is this going to do then? It's going to show, let's see if it shows up in here. Access points, IDFs, copper, other cameras, desk phones, fiber, copper, IDF, this stack, IDF, wall mount, APs. Man, this is so cool. I don't know what that did. It just shows probably where there's going to be a pathway in between floors to bring cables. Maybe for documentation, that's helpful. I don't know if it does anything else. With this, we basically cover all these 4 options in here. I'm sure that there will be more, but as you can see, you can start adding all this to your project, to your design, and it's not just a Wi-Fi thing. It's all that's related. Any other cables, any other cable trays. You can document this and start adding this to your report, because you can send this to your customer. Remember, I can just go to the report, and I wonder if the previous report, you guys still have that link from yesterday? Let me just share the link for the report. Open previous report. Come on, come on, come on. This guy. Yeah, see, it updates that dynamically. Let me send you this link again, online report, copy. Let me paste it on the chat. Let me go ahead and open that link from the chat. I will stop sharing. Memo, if you don't mind sharing your screen and showing us what you see when you click on that link, that will be great. Anybody here that needs a Hamina license, a temporary license, let me know. I will let you have one. And also, if you guys need the floor plans, let me know. I'll paste them on the chat session again. All right, Memo, what are you saying? You look at, now what I just did is a report I created.
So Kerry was asking for a license.
Who's asking for a license? Oh, Kerry?
Kerry Sexton, yeah.
Okay. Can she talk?
She said she had issues with her mic.
Okay. Or are you her representative?
No, she's my team.
It's like, Wallet, get me a license. Wallet, get me a floor plans.
No, actually, what I'm trying, I'm trying to, let my team, the team, work with Hamina. We love it.
All right. So let me, okay, I'll get you one. I just joined today. Can I have a Hamina license too? Okay, let me get you guys licenses before we end the session.
And also Thethia, but I don't know. She is not on my team.
Let me, okay. Before I give you a license, Guillermo.
Yes, sir.
On my report, disable the cabling stuff. I put the little thing on the eye. Let's try something live. I will remove the, don't show this on the report thing.
Okay.
Refresh. No. Don't stop sharing. Go ahead and share.
Okay, sorry. Okay, let me go back.
Okay, so I just enabled the little eyes in here. So I removed the line. Go ahead and refresh your screen. Eyes on the screen, refresh. Notice that now he has the switching and cabling things at the bottom. To the left, down, right there. So if you click on those guys,
Oh.
click on the one above, wired device locations. No, right there where you were, up, right there. Oh, the next one, yep. And then the next one, hang on. And then switch to floor 2 or floor 3. No, stay there. But then where it says memos right there, floor 3, because that's where we added all the stuff. So I just shared the report, okay? Now you can show this to your customers and say like, look, that's where the phones are. This is where the cables trace. This is the cabling. And then you have another visual, another way to report this. And this is dynamic. This is the same report I created yesterday. I added stuff and all you have to do is just refresh your screen and all the stuff I added is there, okay? For the cabling stars, maybe you have to send this to the cabling guys. Like, hey, guys, this is where I want you to mount the things. This is what I need you to run the cables to and from. Then it's great dynamic documentation. This is outstanding.
Any idea how long Hamina would store this? Because if you stop using the software or whatever goes wrong,
it will be there, I think, unlimited. And when the license expires, you will you still have access to your files. You just have certain limitations. You cannot add stuff. You cannot modify things. You can share it and you can, I think, generate reports, but there are certain things you cannot do. But your data is still there.
No, I was first rather thinking out of the context of the customer, because if you share this as a report to the customer,
you can disable it.
Well,
it's unlimited, but you can just go in and stop sharing. Let me copy a license key. Satya and Kerry, I'm gonna send you the license key. And so that's Kerry. There's his Satya. I just shared that license key with you. Let me, Memo, let me take over then. Let me start sharing. Let me start sharing in here. Oh, hang on. Here we go. Right there. You go to your name up there in your browser, and then you go to subscriptions, and then you click on use license key. That's where you paste that license key I send you in the chat. And then you can follow along and go back to the other sessions and import the floor plans. I already pasted the floor plans in the chat. If you need them again, let me know. But I already shared the password for this Hamina project. I don't think I put a password on this Hamina project, did I?
No, sir.
Mark?
No, they didn't see it.
This URL asked me for a password when I tried to open the project.
Do you? Oh, let me double check. Make sure that I do not. I don't think I have. See, if I go to share this guy, share report. Yeah, there's no password.
Might be a bug.
So then, Glenn, see, revoke links. I can just revoke those links. They don't no longer work, and I can create new ones. Because sometimes if you don't just want to show the customer, or the customer ends the contract, or they don't want to follow through, then you just revoke the links and that's it. It goes away. Okay. All right, amigos. I think with this, we get to the end of this very productive, very interactive, very loaded with cool stuff session. Wasn't this cool? Learned a lot of new stuff today. The point-to-point stuff, the cabling, the bill of materials, the switching, all of that stuff. I don't even remember what else we covered today. But you can watch this session. I know we went a few minutes longer than we want to. We want to keep these sessions below 2 hours, okay? But the content, the value of what we're learning, holy smokes, look at this site. All of the things you can import into your project. The fact that you can get an Ekahau project, bring it in 3D, and bring it into Hamina, boom, that was amazing. So that's one of the struggles we've had in the industry, is that companies get us and they just want to keep us hostage. like force us into their product and not let us get their files out and like keep our data sequestered in a way that if you don't pay, if you don't have an active subscription, sorry, you cannot get to your files. But I just need to get a copy. Like, nope, you gotta pay. So this one is really cool because you can just export those files, bring them into here, into open intent, and open intent, it just gets that schema. And look at what Shuttle's done. Holy macaroni, look at this. You can edit ESX files. I'm gonna have to play with this myself, man. Wow. Then there's a Hamina editor, there's Netalize stuff, generates an assets, and then you can just bring Ekahau files into Hamina. This is extremely exciting. I know. It's just promising, huh? Looks good, huh? Wally, what do you think? What do you think, Larry?
Amazing. I like
Yeah.
like yesterday, I was doing a hotel and I had to draw some like tables, chairs. I wish I knew that for yesterday.
Yeah. And again,
Yeah.
maybe it's not going to make it perfect, across, but it's going to get you there. You can just import those files and just keep working on them. And I wonder, I'll try to play later and see how I can do that stuff the other way around and bring some file. You have access. This is free online, and you can just play with your files and see. Now you have a Hamina license too. You can just try to bring those projects and see how well that works, and let us know in the next session. Larry, what do you think about this, man?
I think it's great. I've been using Ekahau for a long time. This is sleek. This is sexy. I like it.
Yeah, it definitely makes a difference. So there you have it, kids. Today, Friday, August 7, 2026. This is the end of session 368 of Tesos and Wi-Fi, originally created for the Spanish-speaking community. Now we're bringing this to my English-speaking friends. This is all about community, man. I'm so excited because I'm learning a lot. I learn from every class. That's my goal, is that I come to class not to teach you, but also to learn. And I'm really happy that you guys make the time to sit here with me and learn with me. This is great. Thank you very much for helping. Thank you very much for coming and participating. Remember, all of these sessions are recorded and uploaded and saved in, where is that tab? The Wi-Fi of things.com. If you have interns, if you're hiring people, and then maybe they come from the server side of things, or the switching and routing side, or maybe the cabling guys. If you want to train your cabling guy to learn Wi-Fi, send them over here, because all of these sessions are not only in Spanish in the other side, but also in English. And then you don't have to do the training. You say like, yeah, watch these videos, and then you learn Wi-Fi, because that's what we're doing. Ian, what do you have? Just saying hi, or just have a question?
All the above, dude. Great job.
Right.
Question though, if I had somebody that I wanted to send this to, like direct them to your site, but also like if they wanted to get on these calls, what's the best way?
Right there. That's the form. Let me paste that in the chat again. This form is where they can come. Let's make sure we paste it to everybody. Here's the form. All they have to do is just send email address, hopefully personal one, not a company one, because then people switch companies like you did. And then if I had the district one, then I wouldn't be able to find you anymore. But if you had your personal, Gmail, Hotmail, AOL, Yahoo, whatever accounts you have. I know there are some people with AOL accounts still. You believe that? But whatever personal email you use where you get notifications, add it. That's the one. And that's it. Your contact information, I'm not going to sell or share with anybody. That's just for me to send you the Zoom link invites. As you can see, when we come to the live sessions, we get to ask questions. And then we get to have, talk to Jerry. And I'm sure when we get to Cedos, I'm going to have one of the guys from Cedos come and teach us. Because I know how to get by, and I know enough to get in trouble, but then they know, because they build this stuff. They work on this stuff day in and day out. So they will teach us how to do it right. So yeah, probably we're not going to be able to get anybody from Ekahau here, but I know Gurpreet, he's an Ekahau instructor, and I'm sure he offered. Oh, actually, he also gave us some graphs, some animation things, or how do you call those? Like comic things. That, how do you call that? There's a name on art, like for explaining Wi-Fi concepts. There's this. Yeah, let me see if I can bring one of those in here, and then I'll have him share some of this stuff later with you. Let me bring this guy to the side, and let me get. Okay, here we go. Let me download this stuff and kind of show you what I'm trying to tell. This is called, done this stuff. Let me save to downloads. And let me save to downloads, these two guys. Oh, there are 3 images. Let me save these 3 images so that I can open them and show them to you. My screen's still on your screen, right? Yes, no, maybe?
Yes, but it's at the sign up page still.
The sign up page. Okay, perfect. Let me then bring up these 3 images that I have from Gurpreet. That, because this is what he does. He does. Oh, are you seeing the little things in the screen now? Okay. This is like how to explain how a NIC works with graphs. Also, right tool for the right job. How do you call these graphs? There's a word for it, right? Animations or infographs, or I don't know, whatever they call. But Gurpreet does this, and he's also offering a deep dive in Prague about this. So if he gets enough votes, then we're going to have a deep dive on learning on how to use the tools and how to create stuff like this, which is really good. And if that flies, then maybe we'll offer a deep dive doing that in Phoenix next year as well. Okay, so you learn how to create this stuff. It's going to show us what tools to use, how to think, and how to start getting documents or getting things like this to teach others and to express and to show how complicated processes work. All right. Then, man, today's been a really, really good session, huh? We learned so much. We've covered so much stuff. Also, we had Guillermo shared an HTML file he did. If you're studying for CWNA, that has some practice tests, questions, not the official ones. The official ones you get from CWNP.com. Where did my thing go? CWNP. I don't know. Is there somewhere here? CWNP.com. You get the official study materials and books and exam vouchers and everything in here. But then because we're helping other kids that we're training in Latin America to study for the exam. So he created this HTML file that helps you study. That's really cool. This is what community is all about. Remember that all of the sessions are recorded. Today, in session 368 of Tesos and Wi-Fi, we spent time talking about more Hamina stuff. So much, I don't even remember everything we covered. AI is going to do a summary. We're going to paste that summary on the wi5ofthings.com and upload the video, and you can just watch it and send others to get it. Questions that we answered today about the how do you sign for these classes? How do you sign up? Just fill this form, send it to me, and I will send you invites for the Zoom sessions so you can come live. If you cannot come live, we're going to record them and upload them to the wi5ofthings.com. Today, I think one of the really important things we cover and questions we answer is, if you have Ekahau files, how do you bring them into Hamina? And the answer is, if you have an ESX file, you go to this place. I also pasted that on the chat. This is a friend from Norway, Cheto. He does a lot of stuff with AI, and he created these tools for free. They're on a website, and you can just bring. Is it here? No, this is to edit. Where did I import the buy me a coffee, editor, generator, assets, Hamina, vehicle? Where did I go to import the file? Hamina, experimental. Where was it?
All the way at the bottom.
Oh, at the bottom? Oh, this one. ESX to open intent. Open intent is a project. Now, Ian, is Ian still around? Is he gone? I don't know. I don't hear him. Oh, Ian, there he is. He's probably busy right now. That's a Google thing, isn't it, Ian? And then Jake Snyder is the one who's been working on here we go. You can subscribe to his Gurpreet visual stack. Where's my open intent thing? So open intent is a project that tries to get companies to write all of this software, Ekahau, Hamina, Sirius, in a way that it can be open in other pieces of software. So what we did today, and it worked very good, is to export an Ekahau ESX file into open intent. It generates a zip file. We downloaded it, and then we went to Hamina and then imported that project. See, I went to the two arrows in here and then import from open intent, and it just imported in 3D. What's that? And then it imported the file into Hamina, and then we could start just working on it. That's really cool. The other nice thing that Jerry showed us today is this Robin Wi-Fi.eu site. This guy created this tool that has 200, how many did he say? 269 objects that you can just copy whatever. It's a desk. There's desk with chairs. There are chairs. There's all kinds of stuff, 270 of them. And you can just copy and then come to Hamina and paste. Wasn't that cool? Let me show you the chairs we imported here real quick. Or that floor one, maybe. Where did we put it? I lost my chairs already. Oh, maybe I have to be here to look at everything.
It was on the first floor.
Let me make sure. Network. Let me look at. Yeah, attenuation objects should be now.
First floor, I believe.
Okay, let's go to the first floor. There they are. See,
Yeah.
we imported all of these things. And if you go to 3D, that's when it looks really cool. Look at that. Wow, isn't that something? See, we like cool stuff. We just don't want to make them. It's better when somebody else makes them for us. All right. Is it possible to share the HTML?
Remember
yeah.
how much time it takes to like draw the tables, legs, copy and paste, and the chairs?
It takes forever.
Yeah.
Yes, you can copy paste. Here, Guillermo just shared this. Here, let me. I'm trying to find that link. I thought I shared that link earlier today for starting CWNA. Let me see if I can find the file again.
For now, I've just posted it in the chat.
Oh, you just did? Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for your help. So what else? Today we answered a lot of questions, learned a lot of stuff. We talk about all of the cabling stuff. How to add this to the plan and how to do a point-to-point simulation. Oh, man, this is exciting. This is the end of session 368 of Tesos and Wi-Fi. Today is Friday, August 7th. New president being sworn in Colombia today. Like, who cares? I care. We care, man. We got to get all these things in line in our governments. Free love for everyone and free Wi-Fi training for everybody. Thank you very much for coming. Until next session, have a good rest of the day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye-bye, guys.
Have a good one. Nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you, Simon. It's probably late for Simon, huh? And they're like 12 hours ahead of us. Simon's from the future. Hey, guys, take care. Bye.